Welcome to the Setbreaker podcast. Today, we have a special guest. We have David C. Smalley. Welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate
being
it.
here, man.
I've been a fan of this for a while. I've been watching your TikToks, and now I'm finally here doing it.
Dude,
so
we made it happen, man.
We made it happen. So you can do this too. You can just come to his house. Tell him your address.
I live on 123 Fake Street. That's a Simpsons reference in case you don't know this.
I knew exactly what it was, and I was wondering how many people are going to get that.
I don't. Maybe like 20% of people. 20% of people, and 20% is still a good ratio. We're gonna talk about a different take on things.
Tell them I'm a comedian.
He's a comedian.
Thank you.
But he's also a racist. No, I'm just kidding. People think you're racist because you have a shaved head, you're white, and then you have an accent.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. Just enough to be like, I think he got in trouble and went to jail for attacking minorities, and then he had to move from the South
to like San Diego or something, and that's
to
a little
start
bit
over.
Yeah. I fight off the redneck accent every time I open my mouth. Luckily, I've had a podcast for like 11 years.
Yeah.
So a lot of public speaking will kind of make you like curb that stuff, on some level. But sometimes when I talk to my mom on the phone, as soon as I hang up with her, I sound like a complete redneck for like 30 minutes.
Can you bring out the truth? What does that sound like?
What, the actual accent?
I need to hear it, man.
It just depends on what I'm saying or what's happening in that moment. Because there is a caricature version, right, where you go super Southern and like make fun of stuff. And anyone, I feel like a lot of people do bad Southern accents, but like my mom will say stuff like, don't eat that shit right there. That'll kill you. You need to take your car, park it down yonder around the corner, and walk the rest of the way because the rest of that shit ain't good for you. Southern. Like my family sounds a little bit like they sound like I hear like banjos sometimes when they talk. It's like they're super, super Southern. Mine isn't that much. Mine's more like, hey, y'all eat yet? Like I'll say stuff like that.
That's very just like chill. Just,
it's just like I'll come out, like if I'm staying with my mom, I'll pop my head out. Hey, y'all eat yet? And if I say that kind of stuff in California, people are like, what did you say? Jeet what? And so I have to fight it off, especially when I'm on the podcast, because if a lot of the stuff I talk about on the show isn't funny, even though I'm a comic first, a lot of the stuff I talk about on the podcast is really serious. We have like abortion discussions, or like we talk about religious beliefs, and pastors and preachers come on. And so if I'm going to start talking about science, or I'm going to say something along the lines of, we're talking about, the distance for the sun away from the moon, or the cosmological Kalam argument, or something like that. And if I start off being like, I'll say the thing with the atmosphere is, people are just like, shut up. Like, I'm not going to believe anything you say after that. So you kind of have to watch how you talk to people. So,
okay. I want you to say two things. Okay. Same exact thing, but one in your regular, and then two in the did y'all eat yet? Okay. That accent. I want you to say, see, the thing about Asian people is...
Oh.
Okay, just say that.
So you can clip this together for TikTok and get me banned from everything?
No, I'm not gonna clip that. It's just...
Okay, I can give you both characters, because as an actor, I can do that for you.
Yeah, because this is acting.
This is acting.
This is acting.
That's the part you're going to cut out.
Yes.
Okay, so which one do you want first?
Regular. You. The not the y'all eat yet version.
The person I am right now.
Right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
The thing about Asian people is...
Perfect. Okay.
See, that's something I'm going to say something positive.
It sounds like you took Asian American studies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was excited to continue that.
And now the Southern.
All right. The thing about Asian people is that's some racist shit is coming right after that. You can just tell, right?
But imagine after that, just like, they're great people.
You know what I mean? Yeah. No, Mitch Burrow has a lot of... I encourage people to go look him up. He does a whole bit about... I don't want to ruin his bit. I don't want to burn his stuff, but go look him up. Mitch Burrow. He's got some really good stuff about actually hearing Asian guys talk. And I think he says something along the lines of, he's like, man, because he's from like, I don't remember where he's from, Alabama or Georgia or something. And he talks about people thinking he's racist just because of his accent. And he's like, he goes, I hate racist people, and I don't care what color you are. He goes, see, right now y'all should be clapping, but because of my accent, all you heard was racist people and colored. And it's so funny the way he puts it. And then he goes, like, the other day I heard a couple of guys making fun of the Chinese accent behind me, and I turned around and I said, hey, y'all cut that shit out. And turns out it was just two Chinese guys talking to each other.
That's a good fucking joke.
Oh, dude,
That's
he's got a whole bit about
funny
it.
as
He's
fuck.
amazing. You should go look him up, Mitch Burrow. He's hilarious.
Damn,
We share a lot of the same struggles, you know, like dealing with people just assuming things when they see you. Like, I know it's weird being a white guy saying that, but there is some stereotypes we have to address sometimes, and I have to, because people, and I usually open my set by saying, like, there are a lot of shitty groups out there, and people think I belong to all of them. You know, people think that I'm part of those groups, and even people in those shitty groups think I'm one of them. And they come up, they just assume
they want to recruit you.
They assume they think I'm already. They're like, "What's up, bro?"
Oh, they think you're already in it.
Yeah.
Hey, brother.
And they yeah, what's up? What's up? And then they're like, "We had a good time January 6th at the Capitol." Like, I wasn't at the Capitol. What are you talking about? And so I have to fight off this constant. And I do a lot of jokes about real life situations that happened to me where people just assumed I was a shitty person and thought I was in their group. And so it's funny to talk about on stage, but in the moment, you're like, these people think that it's okay to say this shit around me because of how I look. So it's kind of like I can do some
covert.
Yeah, some covert,
undercover.
like, yeah, I can, oh man, the shit people say to me, just assuming I'm going to be cool with it is incredible.
Yeah, you know what? You know the movie Black Klansman? The where like he pretends to be, like, he only talks to the phone to like the racist groups. It's a movie that came out recently with Denzel Washington's son.
Oh, okay.
So it's called like Black Klansman with like
I'll check it out.
Yeah, something like that, right? So I'm pretty sure that's the title. I might be fucking it up, but I was thinking there could be another movie that's like a spinoff of that with you,
White Klansman.
Yeah, but you're not the actual. you're not actually a Klansman, but they think you are. So you're easily able to go in, and you're like, damn, these people are. But
That would be so easy for me. I could actually do that, and it would be so incredibly easy.
Yeah, it would be like a Vice segment. Oh, but okay, dude, fucking. So when you came here, you were eating some pills. You had to open up some pills.
Yeah,
it looked like Viagra, but I know you're not gonna take Viagra because that'd be kind of weird on my podcast.
Which you told me when the podcast was over, we were gonna cuddle.
Yeah, I know. I fucking told you to, but you took it too early. What the fuck are you doing, man?
It's not too early for me. I need it. I need the brain.
Oh, you need the.
It takes me a while. You notice I took 2.
You did take 2, and
they
it
weren't
took
Viagra.
forever.
They were Immodium. They were for tummy issues.
Yeah,
because I've got 29 food allergies, man.
That's crazy.
And I randomly, like, I'll just start like shaking, and my face turns red, and I'm like, I had something I'm not supposed to have. And when I take Immodium, it just helps calm everything down, and then I'm fine. But so I went vegan because most of the stuff that I kept having problems with had to do with like cheese or milk, or if I'd order pizza, I'd be sick for 3 days, or I would order Domino's. I get those little lava cakes. I love those lava cakes. I'd be sick for 2 or 3 days. Anytime I had a chocolate candy bar or something, I'd be like, God, I just started doing no dairy, and then even not doing dairy, I'd get a fruit plate. I'd be like, I'm just gonna have bananas, pineapples, and and then like a vanilla wafers or whatever, something a little sweet or whatever, and I would still get sick.
Really?
And I'm like, okay, what the hell's in a vanilla wafer that I can't? What the hell is in pineapples and bananas and fruit plates? Like, what's going on? So I did a test. I wanted them to sponsor me because I want to be able to tell the story, but it's Everlywell. I did the Everlywell test. I did the full comprehensive, like $259 test. And I sent it in. Turns out I'm allergic to vanilla. I'm allergic to pineapple. I'm allergic to banana. And 26 other things that I didn't even know you could be allergic to. Even when I became vegan, the number one thing when you're vegan is eating like kale and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I'm allergic to kale. So I can't have it. So a lot of the vegan stuff that I wanted to eat, like,
you're fucked.
Yeah, it sucks, man. So I'm allergic to hops, dude. You know what that means?
Beer? You can't drink beer?
I do. But then I just feel like shit. It sucks, man. When I go like a week or 2 without drinking any beer, I feel so good. As long as I watch what I eat. But like, I've got to be really, really careful. And it makes me not trust people. Because I go to restaurants, I go to places, and I'm like, is that vegan or is that dairy free? They're like, I'm pretty sure. I'm like, bitch, I'm not basing this off, I'm pretty sure. Like, you need to figure out if it's got dairy in it, because I'm going to be ridiculously, like, I will start trembling. Like, my face breaks out. I get really sick, dude. I get dizzy. I've passed out twice.
From what?
From either food poisoning or severe food allergies.
Jesus Christ.
Because what happens is, this is maybe a little too much information for your audience.
No, say it. But trust me, they've heard.
Good. But, well, good. So then let's just be real. We're all friends here.
Go in.
So you have what's called the vagus nerve. And
Vagus nerve?
Vagus nerve. Runs all the way up to your brain or whatever. And it runs right along your colon. And so if you eat something that your body can't process, a lot of times what happens is, when it gets it either makes you throw up, it pushes it out. But if it's kind of a mild reaction or a moderate reaction, it'll be like it lets it go longer and then goes, oh, wait, we can't deal with this. Everybody out! And it just wants to evacuate the bowels. Well, in order to do that, it has to push everything into your colon. And when your colon expands quicker than it's supposed to, it pushes on the vagus nerve, and that's why you get lightheaded when you get an upset stomach. Have you ever been lightheaded with an upset stomach before?
Oh, dude, all the time. I used to eat until I got like beyond diarrhea. I'd just keep going. Oh,
and just circle back until it's solid.
I would get diarrhea, and then I'd be eating ice cream, and I go back and eat ice cream, and then
that's ridiculous.
Get diarrhea again. I would do that.
I would be in the hospital.
I used to do that all the time.
That's ridiculous. So I basically what would happen is either it does that, or you're feeling nauseous and you feel like you can go. So you're like, if I'm just going to push this stuff out, and that'll be fine. So you go sit on the toilet and you're like trying to push stuff out because you don't want to feel bad. Well, that pressure enlarges your colon. So then you go to stand up after you're done, and you will literally pass out. There are GI doctors who, when they do surgery on people, they will insert this little balloon thing into your rectum, into the colon, so that in case you wake up during surgery, they can hit a button and inflate this balloon. It makes your colon really big, and you pass out. It's one way that they keep you out.
Oh, they want to make you pass out.
They can, yeah. They want to have the ability to, in case you wake up. So my point is, it wasn't really Immodium. I take the generic versions because Immodium are just big and chalky and weird and hard to swallow. And also I think they have like this little bit of a vanilla smell or taste to it that I can't have. But anyway, so I take the generic. It's just called anti-diarrhea. Even when I don't have diarrhea, like I'm not having it, but when I feel the shakiness and I feel it coming on, I take the pills and then I'm fine within like 45 minutes or so. So I'm saying this to hopefully say that it helps other people, that if you're dealing with stuff and you're like, man, I keep trying to eat right, but I still feel like shit and I don't know what's going on. Immodium changed my life. I used to sit there and shake and just run back and forth to the bathroom and think I'm going to vomit and have dry heaves and think I'm going to have diarrhea, and then I don't. I'm like, what's happening in my body? I want to get this stuff out, but I can't. Immodium, or the generic Immodium, has completely changed my life. So that's what I took when I got here. I was feeling weird. I haven't eaten today. So I'm assuming, I think I had one beer last night with dinner, and that might be just now messing with me.
Do you have to take this shit every day?
No, God, no. Sometimes once a week. Sometimes I have a rough, like if when I travel, it gets worse. I may have to do it for comedy. When I travel, I may have to take it 2 or 3 times in a week. But usually it's like once every 2 weeks or once in a week or something like that. Because usually it's stuff sneaks in, or it's decisions I make where I'm like, fuck it, I'll drink this beer. It won't matter. And then later I'm like, why did I do that? I'm just trembling in the bed. Like, it's gross.
You literally shake?
Oh, yeah.
Like, show me. Like, how much shake? Well, I can't really, like, just like that's like a light shaking? Or?
Yeah. So like I'm already a little bit jittery, my family. So here's what you can do. Put your hands out, like flat on the table, and then slowly lift them up. A little bit higher, a little bit higher, a little bit higher. Now slowly turn your hands outward, but just barely. Just barely turn them. Keep going. Keep going a little bit faster. Now right there, stop. See a little bit of movement? You've got a little, go a little bit more. Start right there. Okay, now watch this. See how still your hands are? Mm-hmm. Watch this. I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to come up. You can already see I'm shaking a little bit.
Oh, shit.
See that? And when you start to turn, watch. This is just... Yo. It gets really bad right here.
What the... Why?
I don't know. And I feel fine.
Yeah, but it just shakes.
Yeah, it just shakes. So I got it from my mom. My mom shakes really bad.
Uh-huh.
And it gets really bad when you go to take a drink. And it's like... Ding, 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 ding. And here's what's crazy about it. Here's what's crazy about it. I do a lot of stand-up, you know, and I'm my most comfortable when I'm on stage. Like, I feel like that is my happy place. I do not get a little butterflies or a little anxious before the show, but as soon as I walk on and grab the mic, dude, I'm at home. Like, that's where I love being. I'm calm, my heart rate's low, I'm in the zone. But I'll go to take a drink. I'm on stage and my bottle's like, and people are like, think you're nervous, oh God, right? He's so nervous. And so I try not to drink on stage because it's gonna shake and give the wrong idea. So damn, it sucks. Or if you see me drink on stage, I'll do it really fast, or I'll like put the bottle on my lips real quick so that it holds it still. And then I do like that and put it down. I just try to be quick because I don't want people to think I'm terrified.
You know what I was thinking? You know, I had two thoughts. One, I was thinking of Saving Private Ryan. Because he had the shakes.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Hanks' character.
Yep.
Two, I imagined you on a date. And then the woman across you, she's like, he's so confident. And as soon as you go to grab water, she's like, what?
Yeah.
Is he a pussy? What's that?
Yeah. No. My mom shakes really bad. My daughter shakes a little bit, but it gets a lot worse whenever I have something I'm allergic to. It's something in my system.
Or like adrenaline too, right? It kind of adds to it a bit, or what?
I don't know. Probably so. Yeah, I would say that. But I get really hot. I get sweaty. Damn. Like it's terrible, man. And I hope for all the people that are watching this or listening to this right now going, oh, who gives a shit about this guy's problems? There have got to be a couple of people listening going, bro, me too. Like, I have that same problem and I never knew what to take. I'm telling you, the generic Immodium, it's just called anti-diarrhea. It's LOR, I can't remember the name of the actual active ingredient, loratadine or some shit like that. Look for that and just take a couple of those and it will change your life if you're having those problems. But yeah, I hate it, dude. I hate having these problems because I love pineapple. I love bananas. I used to eat bananas on the road all the time. And I would constantly get sick. I almost passed out on stage one time in Kansas City, dude.
Because of bananas?
I had oh man. I had an energy drink and I didn't eat. And so I got really, really shaky and I was like, I'll just eat a couple of bananas before I go on stage and I'll be fine. Having no idea I was allergic. So I eat 2 bananas. I feel full. I'm feeling better for a second. I go on stage. I'm in the middle of my bit. I got like 25 minutes. I'm in the middle of my bit. And then I just feel the tunnel closing in, just like, and I was just like, oh God, and this is on video.
I'm like, you got a video passing out?
Yeah, no. I said on on stage, I was like, I grabbed the mic stand and I was like, I think I'm about to pass out, and everybody starts laughing, and I'm like, no, I'm serious, like, I think I'm gonna pass out, and they got really quiet, and I was like, I'm fine. I'm going to be fine.
And they laughed.
And then they laughed.
Yeah.
And they thought that I just out of nowhere, so I was going to pass out. And so it kind of worked. But for the second show, when I got ready to the second show, I was in the bathroom in the green room just vomiting.
Fuck.
And it was bananas. I'm pointing over there because you have bananas. They can't see it, but you have bananas.
That I can eat, that you can't eat.
Yeah. But I love them. And I love pineapple. And I love vanilla. Vanilla is probably my favorite smell in the world. Like, I've always gotten vanilla, like air fresheners and sprays, and I love vanilla. I can't have it. I can't have anything with vanilla. And a lot of vegan ice creams that are made like dairy free, they have vanilla in them.
So you can't even eat that.
I can't. No, it makes me I'm more allergic to vanilla than I am to dairy.
What the fuck?
It's stupid. I hate it, but it's true.
You made me realize, because there's a thing that all Asians are always like, we're allergic, we're like lactose. But honestly, man, I don't really think I'm that lactose, especially talking to you, because maybe like 10% of the time I get diarrhea.
So I want to say there's a difference between being lactose intolerant and having a dairy allergy. I have an actual dairy allergy. I break out, I shake, I'll throw up. Lactose intolerance is just going to be some mild diarrhea usually, and most people could just be like,
like bloating,
you'll get bloated. Okay. You'll get bloated. You'll feel maybe chest pains, but it'll be gas, and then you'll just have diarrhea, and then you're like, that was whatever.
But you could die.
And you're like, but I love ice cream. I won't die, but I don't think I'll die. Maybe if I just kept eating it, I might. I don't know. but there's a big
let's find out.
Yeah, so you're probably lactose intolerant. But I'll say this too. By the way, people who can digest lactose, that is a mutation. Like, it's not normal to be able to ingest the milk of another mammal. Like, that is,
or a goat.
It's weird to be able to do that. Like, you only have the ability to process lactose, which is a milk sugar. You only have the ability to do that for the first couple of years of life because you're drinking your mother's milk.
Yeah.
Like, that's how we evolved, right? The ability. So more people become lactose intolerant the older they get. With every new year of your life, you're more likely to become lactose intolerant. So it's something like My GI doctor told me something like 97% of people over 75 are lactose intolerant because you just lose the need to process milk sugars. You just this vegan doctor said when someone says, should I drink milk? Is it good for me? Is it good for my bones? He's like, they asked me that. He said, and I tell them, and he's got this really funny accent. He's like, I tell them, go look into the mirror and look at yourself. Do you have ears like this? Do you have a cute little nose? Are you a baby cow? Then the answer is no. Because that is baby cow growth food. It is supposed to make baby cows into fat cows. The answer is no. You don't need to drink milk. There's a ton of way to get your vitamin D and proteins and everything, calcium that you need that do not include drinking.
So we'd rather do that. Drink milk from another animal.
It's disgusting.
Than just drink our own people's milk. Our own.
It seems more disturbing, doesn't it, to us?
Yeah, but that's strange though. Really
But if you were to set down a glass in front of both of us and be like, hey, this came from my mom's boobs, I'd be like, to me, it feels just as weird as drinking something from a cow's boobs.
Well,
that's the weird vegan in me.
I would take that as disrespect if you wanted
I said no thank you?
No, if you you better drink my mom's fucking titty milk now. I'd be like, no, try it. Like even if I offered it to you, right? I'm like, no, just come on, just try it. Fuck it, dude. Just try it. Like
no.
it's just try it just for the experiment. It's funny. I think as soon as it touches your lips, I'm like, well, you want to fuck my mom now, bitch? Is that what you're trying to do, motherfucker?
So do you drink milk? Huh? Do you drink regular milk?
Not anymore, man. Not anymore. I just started recently getting back to almond milk just for like cereal.
Yeah.
But even then, I'll go like years without that shit.
Soy milk is really good. I think soy
for
milk
estrogen boosting.
Yeah, I know. It's got some problems with it. But
if I want to cry more.
It's one of the best tasting milks
it
out
is
there.
good. I grew up eating that. Maybe that's why I was a little bitch when I was a kid.
Oh, that explains so much.
Yeah, it does, right? Yeah. Actually, guys, I cried off a camera earlier.
Yeah, I had to hold him.
Yeah, he had to hold me, and he's like, it's okay.
Now we know it's the
That
same.
Viagra will hit soon.
I thought your tears smelled really good. It was like
Thank you, man.
a little bit
Vanilla,
of
right?
A little bit of vanilla.
Yeah. I had a Neapolitan ice cream last night.
Okay.
Yeah. That's some good shit, man. But, dude, 29 different things. And you find that out, but when you go to the doctor, do they prick you? Is that what that is?
No, so I went to everlywell.com, a website, and they just send you the test, and you do it at home.
What, do you like spit in or some shit?
No. You do your finger, you do a lancet, and they show you how to do it. You do the edge of your finger, and you just pop it, and it stings for a second, and then you just drop 10 drops of blood, and they have these little circles where you're supposed to drop the blood, and you do the 10 things, and I think there may have been a spit thing too. I don't remember, but you do that, let it dry for like 30 minutes, and then send it off, and then in like 8 days you have your results online.
And it's proven accurate.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, trust me. I mean, when I stay away from the stuff it says I'm allergic to, I feel a lot better. My problem, I think, today was I had a beer last night, like literally one beer with dinner.
Oh, but that was just because you wanted to have a beer.
Yeah, I just wanted to have a beer.
Fuck it, why not, right?
Yeah.
You still got to live.
And also, one beer isn't going to make me as bad as if I were to drink 4. And that's a problem being in comedy clubs.
Yeah.
All the time is you're expected to spend money at the club, you know? If you're walking around, I mean, God, a bottle of water at a comedy club is like $5.
It's ridiculous.
You know what I mean? So drinking a beer is, it's kind of cool. You know, you feel, it relaxes you a little bit. You feel, you know. So that's a problem. So I try to go with low hop beers like Modelo or something a little bit lighter.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah, there are certain
I feel like if
beers
you had an IPA, that would destroy you.
Yeah, I hate IPAs. Yeah, hate them.
Because you can't because your body can't, or you just don't even like the taste too much. It's just
like the taste.
very strong.
Yeah.
I like IPAs.
It smells like it kind of feels like perfume in my mouth. It's too much.
Like potpourri.
Something like that. Yeah. It smells like somebody sprayed like a woman's perfume in it to me. It tastes
like
gross.
old grandma perfume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I like it.
I don't like the fruitiness in it. It feels too powerful. Like potpourri, like you said. It's
not
floral.
all IPAs got fruitiness.
And it's floral though. It smells like an old lady's perfume.
Okay, you're right about that. It kind of is like drinking like an old white lady's perfume.
I don't know why she gotta be white, but you're right. It does.
That's because I was looking at
like
you.
she has plastic on her couch.
Yeah. But I said she's white because I was looking at you.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had to just say that. Okay. Do you have any grandmas that are still alive?
No. Both of my grandmas are gone. Both of my grandfathers are gone. And my dad's gone. Mm-hmm. So just my mom.
How old's your mom?
Basically. She's born in 52, so 69.
Wait a minute.
Right?
Wait, hold on a minute. Wait, how old are you?
How old do you think I am?
Oh, God. Are we doing this?
We're doing it.
Okay, let's do it. Okay.
How old do you think I am?
Okay. Because here's the thing. Your mom is only 6 years older than my mom.
Okay.
But you also have a 17-year-old daughter, but you probably had her when you were younger. So she's 17. I want to say maybe you maybe 20, 37.
37. Okay, so you subtracted 3 to be nice, because that's what most people do, so you think I'm 40.
No, I just thought you just got somebody knocked up at 20.
Oh, I'm 41.
So you're 40. So, okay, so you're 9 years older than me, but my mom is... Is a 60... How?
My mom's 69.
6 years younger than your mom. So, okay, so your mom had you younger.
Yeah, 28 maybe. Yeah, I could do the math. I'm pretty sure she's 69. She's born in 52, and her birthday's in March. So she just had her birthday in 21 already. So I think she's 69. I think she'll be 70 on her next birthday, I think.
Okay.
Right? Does that make sense? Yeah. I turned my phone off for you, so I don't know.
Oh, no, no, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You know what happened right there in that moment? I feel like that was like the palate cleanser of the podcast. Like I felt really, really relaxed as soon as we tried to figure it out for some odd reason. Because, I was irritated earlier, which we're not going to get into, but, I was irritated. And it's like that right there. Us trying to figure out why our moms aren't that far away in age, but we're... Because you're almost a decade older than me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. For some reason, that was oddly calming.
Did she have more kids, though?
No, just
how many brothers and
sister.
sisters? Oh, me too.
Yeah, she's a younger sister. That's it.
I have an older sister.
Do you guys talk?
Yeah. Yeah, she lives right down the street from my mom, actually. They also live in Texas. So.
Is your family... Are they racist?
In the clan? Oh, yeah. That's what I thought. Actually, no. My. I'll show you a picture. My sister. I gotta turn my phone on. So my sister. People in my family are racist, but I don't talk to them. My immediate family is not. My mother was raised in a time where it was definitely encouraged. Right, the racism was encouraged
back then, for sure.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely, it
was normal.
Normal. She's born in 1952, so she lived through, like she used to see signs like white and colored water fountains and shit like that.
That's
like,
crazy.
This was not. People think like this was a long time ago. Like my mom told me that when she was a kid, she would be walking down the street, and a black man would be walking towards her, and he would cross the street.
To the other side?
To the other side of the street.
Because he had to.
Well, yeah, it was like considered that's what he was supposed to do, is not approach a white woman. Yeah,
that's crazy.
And it's brutal. But even though she knew that was bad, there was something in my mom early on where she was just inherently against interracial dating. And so my sister, when she was in high school, wanted to date a Hispanic kid, and my mom like flipped out about it and didn't like it. And so that basically ended up tearing the family apart to some degree. My sister ran away, and she ended up dating a black dude and having a baby. And she came home with this mixed baby, and it like changed everything. My mom looked at her and was like, the hell have I been doing? Like, it ain't this baby's fault how she was born. I didn't get to pick how I was born. Her boyfriend didn't get to pick how he was born. Why have I treated people differently? Like, how am I better than my parents? And she just came out of it. And slowly but surely, other people in my family would say like racist shit about my niece, who is half black, half white. And we would just start cutting them out of our lives. And then I'm trying to find this. I'm not trying to...
I saw a video on YouTube about it was a grandpa from the South, and he admitted that he was one of the most racist people you could probably meet, and then his daughter had a child with a black man, and that just changed his world.
Yeah,
same exact thing, right?
That's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
So this is mostly what my family looks like now when I go home. And I can.
Oh, that's super mixed, dude.
I can send you this picture if you want to put it up there for your viewers when you.
Oh, that's really mixed.
So yeah, and
shit.
There's actually another. This is a long time ago. There's actually more black folks in the picture now.
Wow.
So the only white people when I go back home that are in my family is me and my mom, my sister, and my daughter. Everybody else came through my sister, meaning she married a black man. She has 3 children. Those kids have now grown up, mixed, and connected with other either black or mixed people and had other babies. So it's like 4 white people, and I don't know how many mixed and black folks.
So it's
wow. No, they're not. This group isn't racist.
But
the extended people,
60% just like mixed and black people.
But there are definitely some extended people who would be that we just don't talk to anymore because of that.
For the peace, right? And there's no point to bring that.
And what's interesting though is I've cut family members out of my life that helped raise me. Wow. My sister has, my mother has. We have just like been this force of racial equality and welcoming people who we love as opposed to people who we had blood relation to. And that's why I think it hits me a little harder when I'm online talking about this stuff and I'm told, shut your mouth, you're just a racist white person. That's when it's like, oh, you know nothing about me and you're judging me based on, and then I go, wait a minute, that's how you feel. You feel that they know nothing about you, but they're judging you based on how you look. So why would you do that to me? I was in a college class one time, and the professor said this. I want you to write an essay about ethnicity, about culture. If you are white, write about someone you know who has culture and where they came from. If you are not white, write about your own family and your own culture. And I write in, because it was an online thing, I write into the chat room, I go, but my family has a really cool backstory of Czechoslovakia and this weird Mississippi redneck situation, and then coming together and then embracing a lot of black culture. I would love to tell the story of how I came from. My biological background is Czechoslovakia and redneck Mississippi, probably from slave owners as far as I know, and then coming to where we are now. And she was like, David, this is the teacher. Yeah. David, you're white. We know your story. Write about something interesting.
Oh.
And I go, are you just trying to churn out racists? Like, is this like a factory of like Proud Boys? Like, what do you do? That's how you enrage someone into making them feel like they don't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I remember having a big issue with that. And of course, now that we're in the middle of the argument, I sound like the racist. I'm going, my family is important to me. My heritage is important to me. Now I sound like... That's what I'm saying.
Sounds fucking racist.
I know. It sounds like I have a Confederate flag
out of context, right?
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying that you can push people into corners when you keep telling them they don't matter because of how they look. And if you think about it, that's what we're fighting against. Mm-hmm. It's to tell people that they matter regardless of how they look. And so, yeah, I think my family being so close to me is why it hits me so hard.
I just imagined... like at a Proud Boys headquarters, they have like a school where they raise all the youngins to become Proud Boys, and they call it the Proud Boy Factory, like you said.
They're just turning them out.
Yeah,
turning them out. You don't matter. You don't matter. Yeah, that's a race to the bottom, man. We don't want the pendulum swinging so far that people who agree with you now feel ostracized, and then when they speak up and go, "Hey, I'm on your side," when you treat me like that, it makes me not want to be. Because then the response becomes, oh, your poor white tears. Oh, your white fragile. Now you're just being mocked for speaking up about your feelings. And who wants to join that? Like, you're just, we're going to make change happen by broadening our acceptance and talking about equality, not saying, here's a new group of people we can bully. That's not ever going to, like, it's understandable because of what has happened in the past, but it's important to note that there are a lot of people alive today that are shitty, racist people. And we have to do something about that. But the vast majority of what we're really fighting against are policies created by ghosts. These people are gone. So I'm angry at those ghosts as well. So this is about people who don't like injustice. We're the same. We look different, but we don't like injustice. You then saying, no, but now I want you to feel injustice. Even though you haven't been part of creating my injustice, I want to see you suffer. That's vengeful.
Yeah.
That's not progress. So I just think we need to be careful about that.
Yeah. Empathy.
Absolutely.
Empanada?
I don't think that's the same thing.
No, it's not. You can't eat that, can you?
Well, it's meat, so no. And if they use egg in the breading, no.
What do you eat? What the fuck do you eat, man?
Yeah, good question. I would say hummus. I love hummus. I'm allergic to chickpeas.
What the fuck?
So I sometimes eat them. I'll just have hummus and beer, and then I'll take Immodium.
No, what can you eat? What can you actually eat? That's like okay.
Every day I wake up and ask that same question.
Because I'm looking at yours. I'm like,
I told you this. Look, what is it? What time is it right now? It's 3:40 in the afternoon. I haven't eaten today because I don't want to deal with that. It's like I wake up and I just go, I'll just have coffee, and then I have water, and then I just avoid.
Fuck.
I just avoid eating. So I can do like Impossible meat, Beyond burgers. I can do bread, so I can do sandwiches, peanut butter. I'm not allergic to nuts.
Wow.
I'm allergic to Brazil nuts, but I'm not allergic to like peanuts.
Yeah.
So I can do peanut butter and jelly.
I can
do I do soy milk. I can do a lot of the vegan stuff like vegan nachos from a place, the vegan cheese. It's all made with cashews and stuff like that. A lot of the vegan stuff I can have because it's not dairy, there's no milk in it, and so forth. But vegan Thai food gets me in trouble because they put a lot of pineapples in it. and I want to eat it, but I can't. So like I do a lot of. Have you ever heard of Salaya in Hollywood?
What's that?
It's vegan Thai food.
Oh, I think I've been there.
They do like orange chicken and all of that, but it's all vegan and it's really good. I do spring rolls.
Okay.
With the sweet and sour sauce. I could do that stuff.
Dude, this
it's I have to be really careful, man.
This conversation just like you're struggling to find out what you can eat. I have so much, like my heart goes out to you.
It's hilarious.
Because it's so like I can eat that. Oh, what else can I eat?
And that's the thing too. Like, how is he fat? Like, how did he?
You're not fat.
How did he get chunky? I mean, I've lost some weight, but like, how does he? Why isn't he in amazing shape? And I'm telling you, because sometimes when I do find foods that I can have, sometimes they're not that healthy. Like certain like vegan chips or like vegan. God, I found these like vegan lemon poppy seed muffins. And it's like all the sweetness that you want from something cakey that doesn't have milk, doesn't have vanilla, and isn't fruit based. I'll eat a boatload of those. I'll just a whole ass ton of them.
It's got to also feel like the tension and like the stress is being relieved because like finally I could fucking eat something and not worry. So you go in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. When I walk into a place and they'll say, we have vegan options, I'll go like, what? And they start listing them. Sometimes they don't know the difference between vegan and vegetarian. And they go, oh, we have a vegan burger. And I'll look at it and it'll say vegetarian burger. You know what that means? That means it's not real meat, but there's all kinds of cheese and butter on it that's real. And so they just don't know the difference. So that relief you're talking about, when I walk into a vegan place, as long as I avoid kale, pineapple, and bananas, I'm usually good at like a vegan burger, a vegan chicken sandwich. I can eat all that stuff. So.
You having to ask all these questions as like a white dude, I bet people are watching like, look at this fucking.
Yeah.
I just imagine like, but you're asking questions for your livelihood, for your health. You have no fucking choice.
Right.
Look at this fucking this guy's spoiled.
I went out to dinner recently with some people, and we were in San Pedro, and we were like on the beach, this really nice restaurant, and the person walks up and they're like, "Oh, I'll take the salmon. Oh, I'll take the salmon," like real quick, and I was like, Does your aioli have eggs in it, or is it a vegan option? Like I'm asking the dumbest, and I hate it. So I'm just like, I just try to order stuff that's simple, because even the salads come with cheese. Caesar dressing has milk and dairy in it. Like it's so hard to get away from it. So I'm like, do you have a balsamic? And they're like, yeah. So I have to order these weird salads with balsamic vinaigrette, but I have to make sure that it's not made with something I'm allergic to. And so I do have I ask a lot of questions, and I hate that, because I never wanted to be that guy. But at the end of the day, when I eat something that I know is fine, and I drink water instead of beer, and I have like a glass of wine is fine as opposed to beer. So I'm that guy ordering, Zinfandel and a side salad with balsamic vinaigrette, and it sounds like I'm this haughty-taughty.
Sounds like you live in West
posh.
Hollywood.
Right. Like, do you have any vegan options? They're like, we're a seafood restaurant on the ocean, and you want vegan options, and I'm like, I kind of have to. So I have a couple of times since I've been vegan. A couple of times I've had fish. But it's really rare. It's when I had no other options. So,
fuck, dude, you're kind of like, you live in the first world, but you're kind of forced into like a strange artificial third world country type of eating where, some type of foods.
And that's California. It's easier to be this way.
Yeah.
My family wants me to come back to Texas.
Oh, you're fucked.
What am I gonna like?
You can't eat the mac and cheese. You can't eat the.
Bro, I'm doing research. Like, it looks like Burger King is the closest place that's gonna have an Impossible Burger. So I'm gonna have to go to Burger King, get an Impossible Burger with no cheese. That's the closest I'm gonna be able to get. Like, there just aren't a lot of vegan options. Or I'm gonna be doing like Amazon Fresh orders, and like having it delivered to my mom's house, so I can have my own little like stash of food that I can eat.
And everybody kind of just they're like, it's David, but still like kind of like fuck him just a little bit.
Yeah. You know how like in Asian culture, it's like if they offer you a drink or something, you're supposed to accept it, or like
the alcoholic drink. If you turn it down,
if you turn it down, they get offended. That's how it is with like redneck white people and food. Yeah. Like just in general. Like, so when I go home, my mom's like, I made you some bacon and eggs for breakfast, and I'm like, Mom, I told you I can't eat that. You ain't gonna eat my damn breakfast. Like, it's gonna be. So I have to tell her like in advance, like, Mom, I can't eat this stuff, and so I'm already prepared for the fights. And then it's gonna be, oh, you can't eat it. Oh, you're a manly man, huh? You can't even have sausage. And I just don't want to get into those fights, but I feel like it's coming.
It's hard. But I mean, it's hard for people to understand, especially like older generation who haven't had to go through that. Because when I went vegan, when I went pescatarian. Mm-hmm. For 6 months, I was eating for, I think it was like a New Year's get together with my grandma, my uncle, and everything. We're at my uncle's place, and then, they made delicious Korean barbecue, and there was like a fried shrimp, just bomb ass, delicious ass shit, right? My grandma was there, and I was pescatarian, so I was only eating fish, not meat. And then my grandma, who's like fucking, like, it was like 85 at the time, she's like, oh, eat. Grandmas, they want you to eat, right? Just eat, especially Asian culture, just eat. Like, that's how we don't talk a whole lot, but they want you to eat. And then she was trying to put meat on my plate, like, eat. And I'm like, oh, I can't. And she's like, why? You didn't eat anything in Korean? I'm like, oh no, I can only eat like fish and shrimp. And I'm trying to explain to a woman who went through war
that you're turning down.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Who went through like fucking crazy war times and shit, that I can't eat this thing, when in her day there was struggle to get food. Yeah. Right? You know how fucking weird that is?
Yeah,
and I'm trying to explain to my uncle, who's the son, but even his generation is like, they're like, what the fuck? What the fuck is that?
That's why we grew up in this sort of clean your plate mentality, because there are people starving, and there are people, and these people that raised us came through the Depression. You know what I mean? Like or at least their parents came through the Depression. And so they're hoarding everything, and they're like, if whatever's on your plate, you better be thankful, and you better eat every single drop of that. And you're creating diabetes. You're not creating anyone being thankful. Yeah, but it comes from love. But you're going to lose your ankle to love. Like, it's terrible, to what we were forced to eat. I remember getting into situations where my kid would be staying somewhere, And then they would call me and be like, they're making me drink a whole thing of milk. And I'm like, put them on the phone. And they're like sending me pictures. And they're like, they pour, like my daughter says she was, she wanted milk or whatever. And they pour her this giant glass of milk. And she takes like 4 drinks out of it. And they're like, you're sitting there until you drink it all. And I'm like, no, she's not.
Is it like half a gallon's worth or something?
Yeah,
or how much?
Like a quart or almost. Or like
Jesus.
Like a huge.
For a little kid.
I'm like, this is a thermos full of milk. Like she's 6. Like, what are you doing? It's just. Like you fucked up. You put too much in there. Like, So I've had to go get my daughter from, situations like that. Like you're not going to, force feed her because she asked for it. Like you're the adult. Don't put so much on her plate. Don't put so much in the glass.
You love me. You're going to finish that quart of milk.
Dude, I was at a hospital one time. Someone in our family was having a baby. I think it was my ex-wife's family. And I kid you not, this is such a real problem in our culture. All white rednecks, just preface that. I think it was in Oklahoma. And this kid kept saying he was hungry. And so the dad goes and gets him a hot dog and Cheetos out of a vending machine. Okay. And then this hospital lady, like server, waitress lady, walks over and gives him a fruit bowl. It was like a fruit and veggie bowl. The kid immediately starts to open the fruit and veggie bowl and wants to eat it. And this redneck father goes, hey, you know better than that. You eat your hot dog and chips before you get dessert. And I'm like, I'm so angry.
What?
I'm so angry because I'm like,
dessert?
He sees the fruit and vegetables as dessert and is trying to force this kid to have an entire hot dog and a bag, like 500 calories worth of Cheetos before he's allowed to have his fruit and vegetables. I had to speak up. I was like, it's actually better for him to have the fruit and vegetables. So if he gets full on that, he won't eat all the Cheetos. And you would have thought, I was like, he should be Muslim. Like they were looking at me like, how dare you tell me how to raise my kid? I had a friend of mine came over one time and his kid was throwing a fit. He kept kicking stuff and he was throwing himself on the floor. I was like, what's his deal? He's like, he needs Dr. Pepper. I was like, he's 2. What do you mean? He's like, just watch. He gets a baby bottle, pours Dr. Pepper in the baby bottle, and the kid lays back.
What the fuck?
I'm like, he's going to have no teeth in his head. Like this is the way people think about nutrition in this country is insane. And I'm having to unlearn so much of it.
The redneck stuff.
Oh, it's so bad.
We got to go deeper into this redneck. Dude, this is very interesting.
What else you want to know, man? I'll tell you all the redneck secrets. Rednecks watch your thing, right?
What?
No rednecks watch this. They don't listen to the show. They don't watch the videos.
I think there's a few that I talk to in my live stream. So I'm not exactly sure who listens, but the demographic's very wide.
They're probably related to me.
Yeah, they might be related to you.
All right.
Yeah, but they definitely don't have your Immodium issues. But
they won't talk about it.
Yeah,
because only pussies have diarrhea.
Oh, yeah, ain't no pussies, man. I throw up. It doesn't come out my ass. That's gay.
No, I'm gay. I throw up like a real
pussy.
man.
I ain't no pussy. You know what? I throw up in my girl, my woman's vagina. Because I like pussy, but I ain't no fucking pussy.
I think I'm allergic to 30 things now. It's hearing this conversation is part of my allergies.
Yeah. You're gonna hate me after.
What do you want to know more about this rednecks? Because I'm here for it.
Well, here's the thing about what you just said. Made me empathize way more with people that grew up that way, and even if they say something like stupid, I'd be like, it's not your fault,
right?
So that's interesting. I think there's a thing that people have to know more about
that
too,
father
man.
that said that to that kid.
Fruit and vegetables is dessert.
The father who said that was definitely told that by his parents.
Yeah.
Right? So like if you go somewhere to eat, there's like a main course, you get a couple of sides, and then there's dessert trays, and always as one of the options is a fruit plate. Yeah. So that we've trained our brains to look at fruit as dessert. Even though it actually ferments in your stomach, it's better for you to eat the fruit first and then eat food because it'll pass quicker and it won't ferment in your stomach. I don't know if people know that fruit breaks down much faster in your system than processed horse shit like hot dogs, right? But forcing a kid to eat that it definitely came from his parents, you know? And again, it's about just, I was raised like that and I'm fine. Are you though? Are you fine? Are you sure you're fine?
Yeah.
Because I don't think you're fine.
You're missing your front teeth.
You're missing your front teeth. You're pre-diabetic and you have a heart condition. That's not fine. Let the kid have fruit and vegetables.
Yeah, and your penis barely works half the time. Like,
I don't know we were getting personal.
Oh, we're going deep in this shit.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So what are some other, I guess, redneck, quote unquote, philosophies or things that you've seen that you had to kind of break out of that you realize, okay, that's not right.
Sex versus guns.
Sex versus guns.
Rednecks will tell you we need to teach children about guns, put guns in the hands of children, show them how to shoot it. 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, 9 years old. 10, he's got his own shotgun. He's got a 410. He's got some kind of 22. He's got some kind of single shot rifle. Something. And then by the time he's 14, 15, 16, he's hunting. He's shooting 12 gauges. He's shooting everything big. Why? Well, because if he ends up at somebody's house and their gun's out, God damn it, I want him to know that they're dangerous and stay away from them. Hell, he could unload it, make it safe for everybody in the house. You got to give him information to keep him safe. And you go, oh, cool. So we should teach him about sexually transmitted diseases and wearing condoms. Oh, hell no. Abstinence only, just like Jesus would have it.
Oh, so they just be like, no, just like one word period for the sex stuff and then like a whole fucking book for guns.
So then I go, well, but if it's dangerous for them to not know, and what if they're presented with a situation where they really want to do it, but they can't? Are you talking about guns or sex? You don't get to know that yet. And that's my point. If they're presented with a situation that they would like to interact with, but they're unsure about what to do with it because they haven't been educated on it, is it possible for them to make a mistake? Yeah, that's why I teach them about guns, which is why we should teach them about sex. God, no. Jesus said not to do that. But they could get really harmed by sex and not knowing about condoms and sexually transmitted diseases. So we should give them that information. No, we don't talk to them about sex. Jesus never addressed this. He also didn't address shotguns. That's the conundrum. That's the redneck oxymoron, is you want to give the kid the gun to make them be safe around guns because more information and knowledge is power. So we should teach them about ovaries and vaginas?
Because religion.
Because God, yeah.
God.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the same thing, though. If you don't know which one I'm talking about, you approach a situation and the kid wants to be involved and participate. He could be wanting to shoot a gun. He could be wanting to have sex with a girl when he's 15 years old. But if you don't teach him about the dangers, he's going to end up having this problem, which is why right now, in states where abstinence-only sex education is taught, extremely high rates of sexually transmitted diseases and teen pregnancy. And in areas where condoms are passed out in 9th grade and they show you how to put condoms on bananas and they show you pictures of herpes and what someone struggles with HIV and you see chlamydia and what it does to the body and syphilis and whatever, when you show them that uncomfortable information, sexually transmitted diseases come down, teen pregnancies come down.
Sexual shame goes up.
Maybe. I think the shame comes from abstinence only because kids are not going to remain abstinent most of the time.
Because of the religious factor.
They do it. They're unprepared. They hide it. And they don't tell you, which is why you're having higher abortion rates, higher teen pregnancy, and higher sexually transmitted diseases. So it's not following the science. It's following what my daddy told me and what my mama said.
But you can also tie that into when trying to have a debate about let's say like a redneck and then some other person that lives in California about like pretty much anything, because that could potentially tie in with God. Mm-hmm. So to the redneck, that makes absolute sense because that's how they were raised. Mm-hmm. So they're not trying to be like, hey, fuck you. It's just that's what they know.
Right.
That's how their brain was wired. But then the guy from California is like, how could you say that? How could you say, oh, you fucking Bible beating fucking you just like you hateful person? But that's just, see, that's why we got to have more conversations.
It's exactly what my podcast is for.
Yeah,
that's the reason I started my show 11 years ago, is to have conversations with people I disagree with.
Because I already have, I already try to, think from the other person's perspective, and I try not to take things personally and see what the intent is. But you telling me about in just a couple minutes about the redneck way of living and child rearing, that already has like shot my empathy for them like towards the roof. Like I can You know?
There's also, and I'm glad you said that. I appreciate that about you. There's also this idea that of hitting your kids, of getting in your kid's face because I said so. You ask why? Because I said so.
Dude, that's Asians.
Or walking up to your kid and bowing like you're gonna hit them and then making them back down.
Oh, is that like a redneck thing too? Like,
all the time.
My dad did that to me all the fucking time.
It's about you smarting off. It's just might makes right. That's all it means. I'm more powerful than I'm in charge. My house, my rules. Okay, to some degree, I get that. But here's what parents need to understand the most. Our job as parents is to teach our kids how to live without us.
Yeah, true.
We want to know on our deathbed that they're going to be fine, not of them grabbing onto us going, Dad, please don't go. I need you. I don't know how to balance a checkbook. I don't know how to apply for jobs. I don't understand. I don't know how to order a pizza on my own. So many parents have this codependent relationship with their kids where they love to be needed by their kids. Their 25-year-old daughter's calling them going, I don't know what to do. The furniture didn't deliver on time. What's the name of the furniture place? I'll call on your behalf. And then we have these 50 and 60-year-old women calling on behalf of other grown-ass women to solve their problems. So I've had my daughter calling and ordering food since she was like 7. She would panic. What's a zip code? Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
She's 817, 818. What? That's an area code. Yeah. And I hear the person on the phone laughing. I'm going, she's going to learn. They're like, oh, we love this. It's okay. They need to learn. My daughter we'd sit down at a restaurant. And my daughter would be like, Dad, I want the chicken strips. And I'd go, that's great, honey. I don't fucking work here. Okay? All right. And the waiter would come up and I'd be like, you can go first. And I would make her interact with humans. Right? Instead of being like, she'll have this, why? What if I'm not here when she's 9? Is she going to have to depend on somebody else? When we were meat eaters, I would have her cut her steak. 3, 4 years old, I was showing her how to use knives.
Wow.
Yeah, it could cut you. If you do this, it'll hurt you. Don't do that. I wanted to teach my daughter to live without me. That's what I wanted. But so many of this might makes right type shit because I said so. If your kid asks why, this is a learning opportunity for them to be a better person and cause fewer issues for you in the future. So the next time this situation comes up, now they are mentally prepared and have the tools to make the decision that you would have made instead of, let me go ask Dad. Because I said so. Oh, he has some great Oz information that I'm not allowed to know, so I guess I'll just keep asking Dad every time this comes up. That's a terrible way to raise a kid. Stop saying because I said so and explain yourself. It doesn't put the child over you. It puts you in a position of power because you're teaching someone something. You're teaching the kid something very important about life, which is how to make better decisions.
You know, my dad, he was that way, my way or the highway. And he set it up, the family dynamic, in a way where it's like he would get mad at me for not knowing anything, but he made it so I was helpless.
Yep.
So we all had to depend on him for everything.
That's it.
Right? That's a contradiction. That's the hamster wheel trap, the negative feedback loop. So it wasn't until he actually died 11 years ago that like I actually started to learn shit because I had because he wasn't there.
Yeah.
And that's when I got, you know what I mean? So everything you're saying, I relate to 100%. But then it's like, but you got, but you're a pussy. Like you're not a man. Like you're scared of that. You should be able to know how to do that. Well, you fucking taught me to be afraid of the world. But you're telling me that I shouldn't be, but you're teaching me. You're right. The whole, and then they get mad at you.
Yep.
And they get mad at you when you're asking questions, not to question them like you said, because you want to understand.
They're being mad at you for being the way they created you.
Exactly.
Which is why I also have a problem with God and religion. Because it all ties back together. We're kind of replicating this idea that you made me, but this is somehow my fault that I'm broken.
So I have to bow down to you and then do everything I can to have you forgive me for being born. Yep. You chose to fucking have me,
right? You made me this way.
Yeah. So why are you getting mad at me? Because my feet stink. You gave me that hereditary bullshit, and it happens to be that our culture is take your shoes off in the house.
Yeah.
How the fuck I'm gonna know?
Yeah.
That my feet smell like shit. I was on the playground, motherfucker. Yeah. That was the thing. He would get mad at me. He's like, wash your feet. I could smell it in the carpet.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But that one for sure. Like, no, I get that. It was pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
No, but still,
but don't you don't have to yell at me like that.
No, man.
Teach me.
it goes back to the empathy. It goes back to showing people that you love them, that you're there for them, that you're there for guidance. And a lot of us with our parents didn't get it, probably because of how they were raised. And somebody's got to break the cycle. And that's what I'm doing with my daughter. I'm breaking the cycle. You know? So he went like that. I thought you were telling me to hold on.
Oh, hold on to the...
You went like this. I thought you were saying...
Oh, I thought you were saying, like, hold on to the Viagra.
What?
What the fuck are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
What are you talking
about? Your people. It's because of your people.
This is how we have dialogue. This is how we solve all of the world's problems.
Yeah.
No, I think we start our kids off on this scary road of not knowing how to do anything, of needing to come to us to fix problems, and not explaining how we solve the problem. So might makes right, my house, my rules, because I said so, shut your mouth. And then we get mad at them for not making better decisions. And we also lie to them constantly. We lie to them about the tooth fairy. We lie to them about what we're doing in our bedrooms. We lie to them about how long it takes to get ready. We lie to them about going to the dentist. We lie to them about getting shots. Look that way. And then jab, and then held down. And we treat them terribly. And we lie to them about the Easter Bunny. We lie to them about Santa Claus. And then we're shocked when they come home at 12 years old and lie to us about getting a bad grade. Kids follow examples more than they follow rules. You created this little liar, and what you're actually mad about is that they're just like you. So when you attack them, or when you yell at them, or when you reach out and hurt them and hit them and whip them, you're beating a little version of yourself. You are.
No. What is it?
What?
Dude, my this is this fucked up thing about being, doing stand up, and is your brain's always going crazy places. When he says you're beating a little person.
Oh,
you're a midget.
No.
You're hitting a little person. No. You're right, because my dad would hit me all the time. I never knew why he would hit me, and because of that, and you're spot on. Because of that, I was taught to be afraid of the world. Mm-hmm. Any decision I make, whether it's potentially good or bad, regardless, I'm gonna get punished. Any movement I made. So I was afraid of the whole fucking world. Massive social anxiety, 24/7. I couldn't even order. I would trying to order at Jack in the Box when I was like, I think I was a freshman. I was afraid of doing that. I was because my dad, but he'd get mad like, you order it. But I was like, wait, but can't you order it because you're God. Essentially, he was God.
Right.
He made himself the king of the castle, the fucking creator of the universe. My way or the highway. I create, I destroy. It is all me. I am all knowing, everything. Right? So what the fuck is that shit, right?
Right. He set you up to fail and then got mad at you.
He set me up to fail, yeah. So it wasn't until he passed away that is actually a bittersweet moment of freedom. Mm-hmm. That's just kind of the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm proud of that with my daughter, is that I haven't done that. I've made sure that she has been challenged by the world. It's hard, man. It's so hard watching your kids struggle. She got a job she really hated, but they were working her 8 hours a day, 4 days a week, right at the maximum what she was allowed to work during the summer, and she was struggling to get stuff done. She was stressed out. A lot of her money was going toward her own bills. She was unhappy, and I was just like, you got to let them struggle so that they'll appreciate, the other side of life. And that shit motivated me to start my own business when I was 31 years old. And I do a podcast and comedy full time, and I have since 2011. Like that type of thing, hating working for someone else was my motivation to get out of that. And so I wanted her to struggle a little bit, but it's so hard, man. It's hard, but I want her to be prepared to make better decisions when she's older,
You allowing that to happen, to face and feel the truth of the world, is you actually raising her correctly versus you protection is almost a form of abuse. Mm-hmm. Because that's controlling their world in a way that is artificial, fake. It's like you're creating an own program, a matrix, which is only for that software. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't account for the whole internet.
Right.
Damn, that was good.
That was dope.
I just made that up right now.
Yeah, that was good.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn, that was fucking good.
Yeah. They're learning to adapt just to your household.
Exactly. Then they go out there and then they're fucked, dude.
They're
My
weird.
learning process over the past 11 years was scary, painful, and but I'm grateful for it because it brought me like here, like it taught me a lot. But it was definitely, it's like yeah. So you're doing it right, man. You are.
Thanks,
you are.
man. Everybody who meets my daughter is like, she's such a badass. She's so mature. She's way ahead of her, years. She's really smart. She'll carry on a conversation with anyone. Like I want to tell you a quick story about her when she was a kid, if you don't mind.
Oh, dude, we're just talking.
Yeah, this is so. I went to lobby U.S. Congress in D.C. specifically for medically accurate sex education to be taught in all 50 states. Because I think right now in 17 states, they're still legally allowed to say, like the teacher can say abstinence only and can use like silly little words like the mommy has a hoo-hoo and the daddy has a tee-tee. And they're talking to 17-year-olds.
Really?
Yeah. It's mostly in the southern states, but they're not regulated by the federal government.
Got it.
It doesn't have to be medically accurate. You could literally tell a kid in school legally that every time you have sex, someone gets pregnant or diseases, and they'll just be so afraid of sex that they just won't do it. And that's the thought behind it. So we wanted to lobby U.S. Congress to make all 50 states go by regulatory, medically accurate sex education, because we had the statistics on our side that where that's taught, the statistics are better, and where it's ignored, the statistics are worse. And so I took my daughter. She was like 10 or 11, and I took her with me to this so she could understand us. She could see the process. We walked through the halls of the Senate and Congress and everything so she could get the feel of it. I took her to the monuments. I introduced her to the, Neil deGrasse Tyson was on my podcast. She got to meet him a couple of times.
Oh, you had him on your podcast?
Yeah, he's been on twice.
That's amazing.
And Lawrence Krauss, she got to meet him. Penn Jillette, Penn and Teller, they were on a couple of times, and Talissa got to meet them. So she's had this exposure to these people who are just brilliant minds. And so she's sitting in the office of this congressman, and I'm in there talking. I come out of the meeting and she's just like, on her iPhone, like kicking her feet with her little Heelys on, her Heelys that light up or whatever. And as I'm walking out of the congressman's office, Charles Bolden walks in, who's the administrator for NASA. At the time he was. Astronaut. I think he was one of the first black men to go to space or something. He's like just incredibly decorated, ridiculously brilliant guy. And I see him walk up and start talking to my daughter. Well, instantly, it's like this little crowd gathers of like staffers and all this other stuff. There's probably 30 people standing around. And my daughter's so confident and cool within herself, right? So she's like kicking her legs and she looks up, she's like, hi. And like looks back down at her phone and he leans down. He's like, so what are you into? Like, what do you do when you're not in school? She's like, I like gymnastics. And he goes, oh, cool. You like gymnastics a lot. He's like, you like to flip and you like to spin. And she's like, yeah, I do all that stuff. He's like, oh, cool. He's like, what are your favorite subjects? She's like, I love science. He's like, well, what, you like math too? She's like, no, I hate math. And he goes, I'm gonna show you how you can like math right now. She goes, okay. He said, when you get ready to spin, my daughter's like 10 or 11. Because you jump and you get ready to do a flip. She goes, yeah. He goes, how do you go faster? She goes, you make yourself tighter. He goes, right. A tighter ball goes faster. And she goes, oh yeah, right. And he goes, that's math. And she goes, no, that's physics.
Oh.
And he just sat there and looked at her. He goes, well, but you need the math to understand the physics. And she goes, well, yeah, the math might explain the physics, but what actually makes me move faster is physics, not math. And he goes, did I just lose an argument to a 10-year-old? And he stands up and he goes, clearly I'm not smart enough to be part of this conversation. And then he leans down and he shakes her hand and he goes, little girl, you're going to do wonderful things with your life and I can't wait to see it. And then he walks away. And I'm kind of embarrassed, but also very happy that my daughter was not afraid of this person who clearly had authority and was willing to say, you're wrong about this. Yeah. It was a beautiful moment, even though we get what he's saying, right? He was trying to inspire her to like math. And she's like, math's terrible. But it was physics that I like, not math. We go home and like 2 weeks later, I get this thing in the mail from Charles Bolden. and it's an autographed picture of him in his like astronaut gear. And that's like this whole handwritten note to Talissa about, I can't wait to see you in the Olympics, and whatever you choose to do, you'll be wonderful at, and I appreciate your confidence. And this huge thing, I gave it to her, we framed it, we put it up on her wall. Right. So that's the kid that I'm raising. If I had talked down to her and yelled at her and told her to keep her mouth shut, and because I said so, I think she would have been terrified of this authoritative man approaching her.
Oh no, yeah.
So
no.
I want to empower her to challenge authority, right? Because when you think about 1 in 3 women are sexually assaulted in their lives. 1 in, I think it's like 4 or 5 women have some sort of sexual harassment thing at work because they're afraid to speak up because they don't want to lose the job. I want to have one of the few women that I raise to go, fuck you. I don't want this job enough to go to bed with you. How about you kick rocks and I go talk to HR, you piece of shit? Like, so what if she loses the job? You'll bounce back. You're smart. You know what I mean? Like, don't let people take advantage of you. And so I tell that story to say that I've empowered her and given her tools to be her own person and to challenge authority, as long as she does it respectfully. The hard part is when I'm that authority, she gets to challenge. Right? Yeah. And so the times where I've had to raise my voice or the times where I've gotten pissed off at her, it's never been because of what she said. It's been because of how she said it. So she could go, why? To me when I say, I need you to be home at 9. Why? I'll go, do you want to change your tone? Because we can have a respectful dialogue about the reason why, but you're not going to talk to me like that. Sorry, Dad, why do I have to be home at 9? Great question.
Not immediately like that?
Absolutely.
That's great.
Absolutely. I'll go
great.
Great question. Shit. It's because we have to be up at 8 a.m. because we're doing a recording and a photo shoot and a blah, 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 because she's an actor as well. She'll be like, oh, I didn't know that. I put it on your calendar. You didn't see it. Oh, I didn't see the calendar. You got to check your calendar more often, sweetie. Okay, I'll be home at 9. See you later. That's how the conversations go.
That's smooth.
Not because I fucking said so. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's just, it's about empowering them with information, not talking to them like they're stupid.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, she's a badass. I'm proud of her.
So you're a single dad.
Yep.
If you're okay talking about the divorce subject a little bit,
sure.
or do you want? Okay.
Yeah.
So, how old was she when you guys got divorced?
6 maybe.
6. Okay, so you guys got divorced.
Maybe 7.
6 or 7. 6 or 7. Going through that divorce and then having to figure out having you got your daughter and you want to raise her right, and then just like your world is changing completely, right? How long did it take for you to get to a point where it's like, okay, I got a system? Or was it already pretty?
It was already in place.
It was already in place?
Yeah. I've always been that way with her. I've always had that. Yeah. I think my parents made a lot of mistakes. And I've just always been very aware of my surroundings, I guess you could say. I remember I was 8 years old. There was this elderly man who was a crosswalk at my school. I was in 2nd grade. And he always had like this chewing tobacco, and he's spitting this big can, and he's a monster of a man. He was huge, but he was in his 80s. And I remember walking up to him at 8 years old, and I said, I hear a lot of old people say that kids just don't listen, and that you tell us stuff and we just don't listen. I want to be the first kid that listens. So will you tell me something that I should watch out for in life? Like, will you help me? Because I want to listen. And he's like, yeah, but you ain't going to listen. And I was like, I know. That's what I know, but I want to. And he goes, all right, I'll tell you 2 things. Keep your nose clean. I didn't know what he meant at the time. He meant stay out of trouble. He said, keep your nose clean. He goes, and get married for the conversation, because when you're both old and ugly, that's all you got. Fuck. And I was like, okay. And he was right. I didn't listen. I stayed out of trouble, but I married, very young, and the conversation was never a thought, as to why I got married, and then ended up in divorce. But I tell you the story to say that I've always just been aware, like when my parents make mistakes, rather than me feeling like a victim, I would go, well, that's something I'm not going to do with my kid, So I remember promising myself when I was really young, like I would build something with Legos, or I would put something together and I'd be like, Mom, you got to come see this. Not right now. I'd hear from the other room. But I want to show you. No, I'm not. I don't have time. I was like, I promised myself, anytime, forever, my kid ever wants me to come look at something, I will drop what I'm doing and I'll go look. And I have done that to this day. I've never said I'm not coming. I've never said, I've said, wait a second, if I'm right in the middle of something very important, but I've never not gone.
So we talk about relationships on this podcast, and I feel like people can learn something from your experience. So when you were saying, yeah, you didn't listen about the conversation mattering, right? There's other variables to the divorce, but what are things that you learned from that like insight that you've gained from that experience?
That's huge, and that's deep. I've never talked about this publicly, but this is huge. So, and again, being in the South, you know, the guy's supposed to be strong. And so, you know, boys don't cry. You got to be manly. You got to hold the door open for the woman. There's this whole list of things that you got to do as a man, which in LA, a lot of times is considered chauvinist. You know, chivalry is considered, you know, sometimes a bad thing. So it gets really confusing sometimes as a guy. You just want to make the woman happy. If opening her own door makes her happy, then you want to let her do that. But you don't want to, you're also being judged by society. So, I guess without going on too long about it, to answer your question, what I took away from it is that first relationship is that my feelings matter and that I should express them. Because I hear a lot of men just doing this, yes, dear, and just whatever, happy wife, happy life. And it's such a disservice to men to do that, because we're not all that different from women. We're emotional, and we have reactions to things, and we have responses and opinions, and they seem to care more sometimes about the color of the curtains or how the living room is arranged or what time people are coming over. They're in tune with certain things like that, but there are a lot of us guys are like that too. We've been taught to suppress that because it's considered feminine to give a shit about what color the curtains are or whether or not we're going to buy a duvet for the bed. And so I've learned that if I just never talk about my feelings because I'm afraid of someone exploding or I'm afraid of someone being upset with me, then I just end up harboring all of this internal trauma and not expressing it. And then you think that you're just avoiding conflict, when really what you're doing is you're going to make it impossible to have a successful relationship in the future because you're never going to be right because you didn't learn those skills. You just suppressed the situation when it happened. So much like you say your dad did to you, I did to myself during my marriage. I wouldn't, if I thought I was going to say something to her that was going to make her mad, I just wouldn't say it. I would just avoid it. If I needed to tell her something that was bad news and I felt like she wouldn't handle it well, I just wouldn't tell her. So I would just keep all of this shit to myself. And so I forced myself to be the bearer of the burden. And then finally at some point it's going to explode. And then I become somebody I don't want to be. And I'm like, this is not working. So we file for divorce. And then years later, as I'm trying to have other relationships, I'm like, that fucked me up. Like it makes me nervous to tell somebody how I feel about something. And I shouldn't be afraid of that. So I had to unlearn hiding my feelings and being okay with being expressive. So
now you're at a point where it's a lot easier to just express yourself, but are there still times where it there's a natural, because the way you were raised, right, there's a bit of that struggle still?
It's a little the opposite, to be honest. Now.
Opposite.
I think I may overshare now.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell, if I'm in a relationship, I'll tell someone, hey, what you said was a little inappropriate. What you said kind of hurt my feelings. And then they start saying stuff to me. These are women saying like, are you some kind of pussy? Or are you so sensitive? Or are you being a little bitch?
Oh,
because I'm like, well, the way you said that in front of your friend like hurt my feelings. I don't know why you would say it that way. Oh, really? Oh, you're going to go cry about it? What a little bitch. You know, so we want to be manly, right? We want to be masculine, but we don't want to be toxic masculinity. So we're constantly walking this fine line of like, how can I be manly enough but still be mentally healthy? express my feelings without sounding feminine? And should I even be with a woman who's going to use phrases like, are you being a little bitch, or why are you so sensitive? Like, you know, a lot of times women kind of want the best of both worlds. They want you to be this masculine badass, but they want you to be in touch with your feelings when it suits them. Mm-hmm. And so you being a sensitive person isn't always going to work out very well when the woman doesn't want you to be sensitive. True, right? So there's this whole issue that men deal with that I think the world doesn't really want to talk about, at least in our culture, in America. The world doesn't want to talk about the struggles of men because men have been the cause of a lot of problems. So right now we're kind of the target, and I get it. It's hard to empathize with what you see as the enemy, but we're people. And sometimes I think because I refuse to hold things in, I will express something to someone that they did that upset me, and then it'll get an eye roll or are you serious? Like that really bothered you? And then I'm mocked for having feelings, and I'm mocked for expressing myself. And what I do when that happens, rather than being like, oh shit, I should not share that much, I just get out of that relationship because that person's not right for me.
But see, right there, the women that do that, or even just people in general who are not even dismissive, but just, you know,
well, dismissive is a good word for that.
Yeah, it's a mixture of dismissiveness,
but it goes
like
into bullying.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say.
It goes
beyond that.
It goes into bullying because, and honestly, just like you said, you kind of relate and empathize with some of those redneck guys who do that thing. In a way, I know that women who do that are overcompensating for their own insecurities. They dealt with some sort of toxic man in their life as a father or a brother or a previous relationship. So a lot of them have that similar issue of not, you know, even though they may not like their father, they see that as masculine. So when you are the opposite of that, they love that you're the opposite of that toxic masculinity, but they don't like that you now look feminine to them. And so when they talk about daddy issues, that's part of what people are talking about is you didn't have a man in your life that was that good balance of strong and sensitive. And so because you grew up not understanding what that balance looks like, you don't know how to appreciate it when you find it in a man. Right. So I think women who treat guys like shit or are condescending or are mean to them or are dismissive to them, I don't blame the women for that. I think that they're doing it as a response to sort of make up for their own insecurities of needing to feel powerful because they had power taken away from them at some point in their lives. And the way they then feel power is by bullying you. But they don't feel like they're being a bully. They feel like they're grasping onto something that they need to survive, which is power. Mm-hmm. And in return, you become this collateral damage. You know, they are bullying you without realizing they're bullying you. So it's hard to navigate those relationships. And I found rather than trying to become someone's counselor and teach them that, it's better to just end the relationship and be like, I'm not gonna make myself vulnerable to someone who's gonna kick me while I'm down.
I've tried that many times, being the guy to try to teach, and then never works out. And it's not it's not up to us, and neither is it up to, you know, the woman to teach the man. It's, you know, it's better for both parties. Just, you know, make it easy.
It's okay to grow together. It's okay to go to counseling together. It's okay to you know, to learn things about yourselves together in therapy or whatever. And I think therapy is a good thing for anybody. Mm-hmm. But I just wish, you know, we would stop and think sometimes about how hard it is for guys to walk that balance of being masculine yet in touch with our feelings. You know, it's tough. It's tough.
It's a balance that I am starting to discover more as I get further into my 30s. I'm getting better at it. But definitely, you know, sometimes something goes awry when I'm being a little like, I got to be more sensitive. And then I try to make up for it by being on the other end of the spectrum. And then, you know, just kind of finding that natural ground of just, you know, still being that masculine guy, but not being overly emotional and a douchebag at the same time.
You don't want to be a douchebag, but you also don't want to be overly emotional. Yeah.
So you're the first person I've had on the podcast who went through marriage, who's, you know, because normally when the people that I have on, it's always like they're in a relationship or they got out of a relationship. So this is a real life take, real experience that's going to help a lot of people, because the thing that men struggle with a lot is boundaries and speaking their mind and feeling like they have to be a nice guy. They think that's going to help them in life. But unfortunately, that, whether in a relationship or in real life, not besides just relationship, but like professional stuff. I mean, literally, there was an experience that happened earlier, which I learned another lesson thanks to you, right? We don't need to get into that, but you know, so that is a thing that men have to learn. It's okay to stand up for yourself. It's okay to have boundaries. It doesn't mean you're being a bad person. It doesn't mean that you're having toxic masculinity like just because you stand up for yourself.
Right.
And
toxic. Let me tell you, toxic masculinity is.
Yeah,
I've seen it. I bowl a lot. I love bowling. I'm at this bowling alley and I hear these guys. There's like a party of these dudes. There's probably 8 or 9 of them, and I overhear they're drunk. They are so wasted. One guy's already got his shirt off. Security's told him twice to put his shirt back on. Puts his shirt back on. I overhear him go, "I don't give a fuck if you gotta drive, pussy. I drink just as much as you. Take the fucking shot, bro." That's toxic masculinity. That's that you're a quote unquote pussy if you don't want to poison your liver
or get a DUI
or possibly kill someone on the way home or yourself.
Yep.
Like that is toxic masculinity. Saying, you know, I don't I don't appreciate the way you talk to me. I'm going to stand up for myself. Or, you know, the thing you did in front of that other guy seemed like you were performing and positioning, and I want to know why you were behaving that way. That's standing up for yourself. That is not toxic masculinity. You can be a masculine person while still being in touch with your sensitive side. The dudes at the bowling alley screaming stuff like that are not necessarily being sensitive, right?
Or getting laid.
Or getting laid.
That's what I'm talking like that.
With
normally guys that talk like that.
Yeah. Right. So I forgot where we were going with that, but
toxic masculinity.
Oh, you just said it's okay to have boundaries and stand up for
yourself.
yourself.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's a very common form of people pushing their will onto you.
Or just saying little condescending things randomly. Just making little comments here and there that somehow you're not good enough or somehow you're not. You hear guys talk about all the time, oh, women keep trying to change me or whatever. That's, there are female comics who go, I forgot who it is. I think it's Carmen. I think it's Carmen. She's like, no woman has ever agreed to marry you for who you are. They've agreed to marry you for who they think you can become. Like this one has potential. I can work this one. It's like a house. I'm going to put some money into it and flip it, and it's going to be better in 5 years. And it's a funny concept, but when you're the guy and they're constantly doing things like, maybe you could get this treatment for your eyes, your bags under your eyes, or maybe you could darken your beard a little bit so you don't look, older, or here's some teeth whitening stuff, or here's some little elevators you can put in your shoes if you're, or here's a shirt that's a little bit tighter on you, or, if you lift weights, you can burn fat faster. And this is over months, but guys will write into me and say, like, this woman has said this to me, or some of them I've heard, things, if you do this, you do that. And then they'll be like, I don't understand. My woman isn't happy with who I am. And maybe it's normal. And again, the guy in our culture is not supposed to say, it bothers me that you want to change me so much. That sounds like a quote pussy thing to say. What are you, sensitive? What are you, gay because you're in tune with your emotions? And it becomes this negative thing. And it's like, can we not embrace that? Can the guy not speak up and go, could you imagine if I was going, we should get you some tits installed? Wouldn't that be great? You should shave your legs more often and you'd be softer. Or like as Ron White said, maybe if you eat these Midol, you won't be such a bitch. Right? No, we can't. Saying stuff like that to a woman is mean and chauvinistic. But if you do it to a man, you're just trying to improve him. Right? So being able to say, I'm happy with who I am. I don't need you to improve me, right? We can grow together and be fine, but you just directing me on how I should be more as to your expectations is condescending and creates insecurities. And then you wonder why the guy gets jealous. If you're constantly telling him he's not good enough or he's not handsome enough or he needs to do this thing in order to be handsome, or he shouldn't wear that shirt. That shirt's ugly. Every time you wear that, it's such an ugly shirt. Talking to your man like that it's just going to make him more insecure about himself. And then you're worried about why he's concerned about you having lunch with Dan at work. Who the fuck's Dan? Is he tall? Does he have the nice shirt? Are his teeth white? Is all his gray hair's gone? Is he tall?
Does he?
You know what I mean?
He has a 6-pack. Fuck.
Yeah, I mean, it's you're creating these insecurities by talking down to your man, and he's not going to tell you that. It's just going to come out as whore. You know, he doesn't know, but it's we just need to stop and think about how we are contributing to someone else's insecurities and problems is what I'm saying. And it goes both ways, because women will have jealous streaks too. If your woman doesn't want you watching porn, for example, you could be like, she's controlling. I'm going to watch porn. It's my own private life. I can masturbate if I want to. Sure. But have you thought about maybe how you're contributing to her insecurity of not wanting you to watch porn? Are you laying it down? Are you doing what she wants you to do? Are you willing to try shit with her? Are you not wanting to have sex with her? Why? And then is she contributing to you not wanting to have sex with her? Like, let's talk about, we both come to these relationships with so much baggage, right? So maybe we should stop and go, if this person is treating me a certain way, have I done anything to contribute to them doing that? Maybe you looked at your wife a certain way when she put something on, or you looked at your girlfriend a certain way, or you looked at someone else who looks exactly the opposite of her with desire, and you made her feel unwanted. And now she feels like not good enough for you. And then she thinks in her mind, porn is because you hate her, right? That's also what's known as a fundamental attribution error. She's making an error attributing it to you hating her, when in reality it's just you just want something different, right? Is why you're watching porn. I literally dated a porn star and still watched porn. Like it doesn't matter. It's because it's something new or something different. But if you're not making her feel secure, maybe that's a reason why she feels upset when you're watching porn. So make your woman feel like she's wanted, be willing to do stuff with her, be open with her and talk to her about the things you want to try in bed. She might be down for it. You both just might be afraid to talk about it. Be open. And if you start talking about it and she's like, you're weird, you're gross, what are you, some kind of pussy? What are you, gay? What are you, blah, blah, blah? You're with the wrong person. Anyone who's going to talk to you like that is not understanding, is not welcoming, and is not compatible with you. If you have to be someone that you're not in order to keep the relationship going, you're trying to shove a square peg into a round hole.
Yeah, because you want to stick a circular peg in a fucking round knife. If you want to get pegged, that's what you gotta fucking do, motherfucker. Yeah, I already forgot what I was saying. That thing. Fuck, I had something. I was gonna say something really cool and I fucking forgot. God damn it.
Probably way better than what I was gonna say.
No, I was just trying to add a little tag to just act like I was a big part of what you just said. Just like I was part of that. You know, like when at SeaWorld the guy holds onto the killer whale's fin, but it's a killer whale that's the one fucking swimming and shit. That's what I was trying to do.
You were trying to hold on to my fin?
I was trying to hold on to your fin.
Well, at some point when I'm gone, say something brilliant into the microphone and then just edit that right at the end of it. Of what I just said.
I could do that anytime. I could do that anytime. I could do that any fucking time. But
I think my podcast has lasted so long.
What?
So I think my podcast has lasted so long.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay.
It's not true. I didn't really do that.
He didn't. I'm gonna re-listen to this episode because there's a lot that of questions or a lot of things that I've been struggling with as of late that this has answered. And I know it's going to help a lot of people, regardless of whether they're a dude or not. And I know that,
I hope so. I'm sure people will be upset by it. I'm sure there will still be, people who get mad that I even say half the things that I've said. But, it's fine. I mean, there's a quote attributed to Aristotle. He said something similar to this, but this is kind of a dumbed down version of it. It's not a direct quote, but the concept did come from Aristotle. He said, essentially, it is the mark of an educated mind to entertain an idea without accepting it. So can I listen to you and take in what you're saying and even entertain the reality of what you're saying without accepting it as my new worldview? That is the mark of an educated mind. For people who just shut down and go, shut your mouth, you're a man, you have no right to talk about that, or shut your mouth, you're white, you have nothing to say about whatever, or telling a woman she should shut her mouth because this is a man's conversation. Anybody who's just shutting you down, they are afraid of your words.
Yep.
If what I say matters, it shouldn't matter who I am or what I look like. So at the end of the day, entertain the idea without accepting it and grow in your own education. And if I'm wrong, reach out to me on Twitter. Reach out to me on TikTok. I'm David C. Smalley on everything. Instagram, Twitter, my website's even David C. Smalley. Just go somewhere, fill out the form, or contact me on social media. Tell me why I'm wrong. Come on my podcast to have the discussion about why I'm wrong. I invite people who want to tell me why I'm wrong about this stuff. And I'm open to having the dialogue. I think that's what's going to move us forward. So whether it's a challenge to who you are as a parent, or who you are as an activist, or who you are as a husband or wife, whatever has upset you, reach out and let's talk about it. That's what I do on my show. So the discourse, even if I'm proven wrong in something, is going to help people. And that's what I've dedicated my life to. It's weird when they see me do stand-up comedy and go, oh, you're funny, I want to listen to your podcast. I always have to go, that podcast isn't that funny. Like I deal with some heavy shit on my show. You know? I try to make it light sometimes, but the laughter is few and far between. It's kind of hard, you know. Unless we get 3 or 4 comedians around like we did with Trey Crowder, you, Michael Regilio, and myself. Mm-hmm. That's fun and explosive several times. But even then, we dealt with some heavy shit, you know.
Yeah, we got into some deep stuff, and that was a thing that at what point in my podcast I was struggling with, because I thought I had to just be the comedian guy, and there was a point where I kind of felt like maybe I should chill out on the deep conversations, the you know, getting a little too honest about the other side of things. Why don't we just keep it funny? Like, I'm like, but that's not what I want to talk about. That's not who I am, and that's not where it naturally goes. You know,
it won't matter. People will talk shit no matter what. Like, can I show you something?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
So I got booked in a new Power Rangers movie.
Oh, did you? There's a new Power Rangers movie?
Well, hold on. Don't tell too many people. I'll say it that loud.
Should we take it out?
No. You can put it in, but it's right now it's being presented as a fan fiction film, but it's gaining a lot of attention, and there may end up being a licensing thing in the future, is all I can say. Ooh. And I have a pretty big role. It's a principal role. I'm not in tights. I'm not a Power Ranger, but close. And the trailer came out. So I put the trailer out. It's this badass. So the original Black Power Ranger, Walter, is in the movie. And I saved his life, like in the, you can see like in that little, on my Instagram, you can see like that's me helping Walter.
There was the OG breakdancer with original, the big pants.
Yeah. So a bunch of people are commenting, congratulations, this is huge. Like a 4-minute trailer. They're also doing a fundraiser for the film. And then here's one of the still shots from the film.
Oh, that's you?
That's me. Sun's out, guns out.
Dude.
And because I'm like this military guy in the film that like helps the Power Rangers. And so people are going through commenting, damn, look at the guns, so proud of you, so happy for you. And then look at all I did is I'm starring in a movie, in a Power Rangers movie. Look at that last comment right there.
Loser? What the fuck?
Loser.
Just loser. Not even a period, just loser with a capital L.
Yeah, what does that mean? And so I replied, are you okay?
And he said, yep. And again, no period.
Yeah, my point in showing you all of that is not to talk about my movie. It's to say, even when you're doing something not related to anything that matters in life, like, as much as I don't want the directors and producers to hear me say that, the Power Rangers are not going to change the world, right? But dealing with abortion and religious rights and the Confederate flag, this stuff is major for like our society. But even when you're just dealing with silly shit, people are going to hate you. It just doesn't matter. I have no idea who that is. He's just someone who follows me on Instagram and just decided to call me a loser. For what? Internet trolls are almost always miserable. It's never going to be someone who's doing better than you in life.
Never.
With more followers and a bigger movie. Like, I mean, could you imagine how ridiculous it would be if like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson commented "loser"?
Dude, I was literally thinking of The Rock in my mind too.
Could you imagine that dude coming to my post like a loser? It never works that way. It's always someone who, and Theo Vaughn said this brilliantly. He didn't mean to be funny, I don't think, but it was kind of funny. He was like, there was this guy that I admired, and admire is what you do, is how you feel when someone's doing better than you and you still like them. And he had to explain that to the audience. I thought that was brilliant. But, you know, it's everybody's at different levels in life. You know, and some of us are at different levels. Like you're massive on TikTok. I'm trying to get to your level on TikTok. I have a huge podcast audience. I don't know how big your podcast audience is,
yours.
but we're like this, right? So we're working together on both. Mm-hmm. I want to talk about you and have you on my podcast. I hope you put clips like this on your TikTok because people can go follow me on my TikTok. It's about working together, knowing what our strengths and weaknesses are, and making those weaknesses into strengths for everybody, and we all get better, right? But so many people see their weakness and just start bullying people on the internet who don't have that weakness. And at first, when you first get into this, you're like, fuck you, and you want to get into a fight with them, and then you realize that's exactly what they want. Like just chill out and check on them, because they're almost always in a really bad place. The people who say those things are almost always just tormented by something.
I had a guy that kept going into my live stream and then would like say really racist Asian stuff, and the people.
Was he Asian?
I don't know what the fuck he is, but for sure not Asian. But sometimes Asian people will do fake trolly stuff too.
Well, not even that. I've seen like Asian, like this is not even a joke or a stereotype. I've seen some of the most hateful like Asian comments about, say, Japanese people would come from like Koreans or vice versa.
Oh yeah.
Like it's been like stuff that makes. Like, I'm from Texas, and I've heard some really racist shit, but I hear stuff like among Asian communities against each other.
Oh, the racism between Asians is very high. But in this particular one, this guy, he kept coming in and like fucking around, and saying really fucked up shit. But I didn't block him. Everybody kept saying, block him, Mike, in the chat room. And I was like, no. I just want to, no, I could tell. Like, he's probably not in a good place to see, let him stay. It's cool. He's saying some fucked up shit, but he's not going too fucked up, because I can handle like levels of that. Most people's probably is really fucked up, but I was like, no, let's see. After a couple more times of him doing that, going in and out, just being fucked up, and me not being mean to him, he came back later, and he even named himself, like his account, like fuck Mike Kim or something really fucking stupid. Then he came back later and he said, hey, I want to apologize. You're actually really cool. I was just going through some stuff, and I don't know. Like, I'm really sorry, and I'm a fan of yours now. He apologized, and then he changed his name to like I love Mike Kim or something like that. He did, and that funny. Changed my whole like perspective even more on like the internet. But that's another example of real life, the world thing. What if we just? I'm not saying you got to take punishment, but that's like in a kind of an extreme-ish internet example of, dude, let's just a little bit of empathy. Let's see what's up. Yeah. But again, I'm not saying let some guy be like, yeah, fuck you, your mom's a loser, like not like that. But you just kind of look behind what they're saying.
There's a line somewhere between your own healthy boundary, and you throwing someone away because they're broken. Mm-hmm. And if we all reached out and just helped each other heal, I think we would be in a lot better place. The problem is that stuff doesn't get mainstream attention.
It doesn't.
When you keep the peace, because I've had that similar thing happen. Not many people care. They'll share it sparingly, like, look how sweet this was, or look how respectful this host was who was getting shit on or whatever. But that doesn't make the big news. The stuff that makes the mainstream is the shitting on. When Tucker Carlson looks to the screen and goes, Joe Biden is half asleep, like just saying ridiculous things, like, oh, this vaccine, you want me to trust it? You're vaccinated, bitch. What are you doing to people, right? Yeah. So creating the controversy, unfortunately, just like the train wreck, just like the rubbernecking on the freeway, people want to see disaster. And it's so fucked up that we don't have some sort of evolutionary bent to see peace. Because if we wanted to see peace, conversations like ours and podcasts like ours would be huge, and more people would be positively affected. Instead, the shit that blows up is Fox News, OAN, MSNBC shitting on Republicans. It's just whatever they can do to just shit on each other. It's so sad. It's a sad symptom of the human condition.
It is. It's all kind of like inherently within us to kind of want to see that, like kind of want to be around that. But
it's the tribalism.
And then the picking a side, us versus them. But thinking on a higher, being consciously aware of that and fighting that, that will bring all of us more united and fix a lot of, won't fix everything, but it'll help solve a lot of things. I believe so. And then, we'll wrap up here. You're the first person to already kind of plug in their. Just plug it in. Plug in your stuff.
I do it on purpose because I don't want to force you to have to ask. But yeah, I'm David C. Smalley on everything: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and my website, davidcsmalley.com. My comedy tour schedule is all on the homepage of davidcsmalley.com. So follow me everywhere. Oh, and Patreon, David C. Smalley.
Everything is David C. Smalley, but he is not. As you could see, he's not Smalley. He's big. Okay, never mind. That was bad. Anyways,
is that a fat joke? I don't understand.
No, it was a man joke. You're a man. You're okay. Anyways,
but
guys,
I'm short. I am short. I'm very short.
How tall are you?
5'7".
Okay, I'm taller than you. You're right.
This is the most awkward ending to a show I've ever. What do I do with my hands?
Shake them. Guys, this has been another episode of the Setbreaker Podcast. Thank you for listening, and I will see you on the next episode.